Welcome to Music Industry City's New Thoughts. It's our new program where we discuss fresh ideas and take a look at the industry from a different perspective. I'm Peter Schwing, and joining me today is my co-host, Stephanie Carlin. If there's something you'd like to chime in about, let us hear your thoughts in the chat or the comments below. We're on like all these different platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Facebook. We have a whole bunch of places we're at. And also we're checking out this Clubhouse thing. So you got a little phone party, chat room. What was it called back in the day when people would just have the party lines? That's it. Okay. So we got some really interesting topics. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So what's on the topic today? Fear of failure. So I think we all can understand and have experienced that fear of failure and also fear of success. And, it's just inherent that, artists, musicians, and ourselves run from failure. We're not firemen where we see a fire and we run into it while everybody's running out. But, we plan to run our entire lives, our entire careers based on like a reaction from the fear of failure. So it's really interesting how you can utilize that fear and transform that. And joining us, we're going to have Stephanie Carlin. Stephanie, how are you?
Oh, Peter, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I know we've missed you during this. Well, speaking of transition, if as many might remember that Stephanie was over on our Tuesday Talkies team. And now we started up a new program, New Thoughts and Perspectives. And I think you are perfect for this because you really do a great job of, the real talk. It's like this isn't okay, let's all hold hands, sing kumbaya kind of discussions. This is like, getting your shit together. Like, let's take a look at things from a different perspective. Let's give you a little kick in the ass. Am I right on that?
You're right on that. And the reason why I've been gone for 3 weeks is because I have been onboarding everyone over at Truth School, where, I'm in the trenches supporting awakened leaders, awakened artists on how to speak truth, live truth, and elevate humanity with truth. And it's that quality I want to bring to our conversation today, because I want to speak directly to anyone listening at home who's like examining what the hell is next still in our post-COVID life.
And especially in this day and age, it's so hard to speak the truth. So we were talking about fear of failure, and there's that fear of speaking the truth because of social media as well, and putting yourself out there. So whether it is a political statement, or it's something that you are passionate about and you believe in, or it's about climate, or it's whatever the topic is, or if it's about your music, you put your music out there, and that's your soul, that's your truth. And we're always so, we have that hesitation of like, what if somebody doesn't like it, or what if somebody questions my music? What if somebody questions what my truths are?
Well, yeah, I'd even counter that and spin it on its head and say, like, at some point, someone probably already did question it. Mm-hmm. And someone already did invalidate it. And someone already did criticize and judge it. Because, like, being afraid to fail, which is just a concept, dominates most of our choices. And I'd even say, what is failure? It's just that moment in time where something happened that we energetically cord with from the past and collapse our identity with.
Right on.
That's it.
Well, I know you have a lot to say, so I'm going to give you the big screen uninterrupted. So take it away, Steph.
Yeah. Well, we carry our failures forward with us, and it shapes our beliefs about ourselves, about the world. And over time, we will just habitually look for evidence as to why our failures are the truth. But when we uncord from that moment that we once deemed a failure, we get free. So I want to know, for you listening, as you're still in your post-COVID pivot, that's who I'm speaking to now. What is the moment in time that happened where you decided that you or a situation or a person or dropping your music was a failure and your dream could not happen? Because in order to wrap our heads around what failure is, we have to also quantify what your success is. What even is that potential success that you failed at? And maybe for you, both these concepts just end up being vague. They end up just living in our bodies as feelings or insecurities, not as just quantifiable facts of what's so. So, I want to tell you how I quantify success with my clients. Success is gauged by impact in the world and income in the business. And in order to be successful at these things, you don't need hundreds of thousands of whatever, your streams, likes, dollars. You don't need millions. You don't even need thousands. Kevin Kelly, who's often called the world's most interesting man, he says you need 1,000 true fans to be successful at anything. And I tend to agree. So, transformation at the level of 1,000. Well, now shit starts to get real. Now you have a specific number, a measurable number, an achievable number. So, what is the highest expression of your artistic work if you knew you couldn't fail? What is the highest expression of your artistic work if you're playing the specific, measurable, achievable game of 1,000 true fans? If true fans that'll pay anything, right? So if your success was inevitable and you only needed 1,000 true fans, would your work expand in some way? Would it change? Is it the work you're doing now? See, your perception of failure, the feeling, the insecurity, it protects you from risk. It protects you from heartache, from pain. It's that lizard brain seeking safety. And every block or stop we have is here to keep us safe. And we use words like realistic to keep us safe. I'm being realistic, we say. I'm being practical. Well, fuck being practical. Practical relies on seeking the validation of others. Change makers, people who push the envelope, they don't depend on the validation of others. And when we continue to seek the validation of others, we stop trusting ourselves. We stop daydreaming into our full potential, our unbridled possibility. We close ourselves off to guidance and inspiration. So fuck your fear of failure. That's what I want you to be left with. But the real gem of all of this is that your failures brought you here. Like, okay, so my spiritual teachers told me that Gandhi had chronic anxiety. Can you believe that? He had crippling panic attacks and constant anxiety until he was 13. And apparently the story goes that around the age of 13, a guru gave him a mantra. And he would just repeat it to calm his anxiety. And through that calmness of his anxiety, he found his connection to source. He went on his spiritual journey and he freed India. I mean, I'm paraphrasing for the sake of my point, which is even Gandhi had crippling panic attacks and constant anxiety. He was no different from you. So your challenges bring you to your dreams. Your challenges lead you to truth. Your failures can lead you to your purpose. So as you go about your day to day, there's a couple things I'd like you to take inventory on. Firstly, what are the things that have come to get your attention in your life so you can go ahead and do your real work? Secondly, if your failure could somehow be the fuel for what's next for you, then what have your challenges been forcing you to look at and grow beyond so that you can serve the world the way you know you were meant to serve it? And maybe by world, we just mean 1,000 true fans who you could truly impact. Because you're here to speak truth, feel truth, live truth. You're here to give truth away. You're here to inspire. You're here to impact. You're here to shepherd the awakening that is happening around us, disguised as a crisis. You're not here to sleep. You're not here to numb out. You're not here to do anything but your highest and best work. And that's what I want to leave you with today.
Right on. I always love that, going back to the 1,000 true fans. And when he was talking, it's like, economically stating, and that was one of the things behind it. And this is that difference between what I'm like as a musician. It's like, do you have 1,000 likes? Do you have 1,000 followers on Instagram? Do you have 1,000 followers? Do you have 1,000 views? It's not necessarily about that. That's like the popularity part of it. And that's the feel good. That's the dopamine. That's the likes. And you look at the economic standpoint of like the $100, if you can get 1,000 fans to pay $100 to you per year, that's $100,000. And that's a good amount of money to have a career. And that's like, do you want to have 1 million fans? Well, then, when you have 1,000 fans, you can grow. It's that fear of like, what happens when I get to 1,000 fans, or it's a fear that I'm not going to get to 1,000 fans. And that's always my question. It's like, you look at it's like that fear of success or that fear of failure where you're like, well, I tried it out on this platform. I tried Instagram for 2 months and I tried doing these things and I read all of the blog posts on how to use Instagram and I did it for 2 months and I failed. So I'm not going to do that. It's like, well, what can you learn? Because first of all, 2 months of doing anything is not going to give you the career that you're looking for. So it's like you have to make those baby steps. I mean, and celebrate. So here's the thing. So you look at it as a failure, and people that are streaming, now, a lot of musicians are now over streaming on Twitch, and they're like, I only have 3 people following me, and I want to become an affiliate. And you need 50 true followers, and you need to stream for a certain amount of hours, and you need to hit all these benchmarks. And here's the issue. If you actually become an affiliate on Twitch, it's you're signing a contract with Twitch and you can't multi-stream to Facebook and to YouTube and all that stuff. And then you can monetize. But if you only have 50 fans, 50 followers, and you sign this deal, and you can get tipped in bits, you're only going to have a few people per stream. Therefore, if they tip you anything, you're not going to get paid because they have to have a $100 cap before they pay out and all of this stuff. So you're now into a gamification process, because basically what Twitch is saying is like, hit these goals and you can become an affiliate. And that sounds great. That's and then you sign a contract and then you realize, wait, I'm going to make less money than if I focused on collecting my fans, going back to my website, collecting email addresses. If you have true fans and you have their email addresses, you can go to any platform. As opposed to saying on Instagram, come follow me on Twitch, come follow me here. Your true fans, the super fans, will follow you different places. But it's like your true fans are not the ones that are just like following on Instagram and things like that. So how do we? Yeah.
Yeah, it really breaks my heart when I watch musicians just start to get dominated by the platform's rules instead of creating their own rules. I'm a really big fan of creating your own rules. And I think we tend to forget that there is just one soul listening on the other side. One soul. So even if you have 10 fans, 100 fans, 10,000 fans, 10 million eyeballs watching your stream, it's still just one soul you're impacting. And we can just forget about that when it comes to getting swept up in the metrics of our industry. And that's your job as the artist, is to remember and hold sacred that there is one soul on the other side as you gather your 1,000 true fans.
Yeah, and it takes longer to develop a true fan as opposed to the casual fan. And how do you really engage in get a true fan? It is by actually thinking of them as a person as well and engaging on a personal level. That's why for people, and I've been saying to musicians, especially in this time, is that you should be live streaming a lot, trying out different platforms, maybe trying out Twitch, because you can engage with your audience. And because we can't go out touring, so you're not meeting there's no potential to meet new people and gain new fans by somebody happen to be in the venue that you're performing at. And they're like, hey, wow, we really like this. Be on there. But it's the Twitch and those kind of things is about that engagement. So when somebody, says, hi, oh, great stuff. Well, so many of these streamers have mastered the art of speaking to that one person. And they're like, hey, how are you doing? So if they'll be practicing, and that's what's great about Twitch, is you don't have to be perfect. When you're doing this live streaming, you don't have to be perfect. You can be personal. And people enjoy, like, if you're playing, you're practicing, it's like, oh, I screwed that up. And everybody's like, oh, that sounded great. No, try it again. And like, then you get encouragement. But you also have to be doing it consistently to get people in there. But when
And
they're
that's
there,
like the simplest strategy one can implement is just show up and speak. Just show up and sing. Show up being willing to fail and do it again next week.
There's one streamer that she plays piano now, and she does cover songs. She taught herself how to play piano on Twitch.
So cool.
She has 15,000 followers and probably a few hundred subscribers, because then you can subscribe and you pay. Subscribers pay, and people tip in bits. Well, she just sat there teaching herself how to play piano with nobody. And you ask any streamer that has 20,000, 50,000 people, and they're all going to say the same thing. They all streamed for months with 0 followers. And they just kept going and going and going. And so that's the fear of, well, what if the tree falls in the forest? What if nobody's there to listen? They're there. You have to, your fear of like, nobody's going to love me. Nobody's going to like my music. Nobody's going to come see me. Well, if you're going to perform in a live venue, it's the same thing. If you're going to go on a social media platform, it's the same thing. It's like, what if nobody likes my posts? Well, nobody knows you, and you're battling against all the crap that's out there. So you're battling against politics, you're battling against sex, you're battling against all these things that stir the pot and have lots of followers. So what can you do to break through? But it's consistency.
Well, I'd imagine what's so great about this chick is that people are rooting for her.
Yeah.
They empathize with her struggle of learning piano, and they want to go, and they see themselves in her journey. It's like a hero's journey, essentially. It's like the perfect beacon for like an ideal client, as I'd say. And an ideal fan is, I struggle with playing piano. I want to go see what her struggle's like, because she's being authentic, she's being real, she's being vulnerable. And yeah, I'd go watch that for sure.
Yeah, she's absolutely adorable, like, as a person. She's just simply like, she's a person that you're like, I could just have her in the background, and you're like, I enjoy just listening to her talk. It's like one of those, like, she's authentic. It's like, this is that real person. She speaks the truth. And then there are that are out there that are like, it's their personality, and they're really getting to be that personality. And I've always said to musicians, I'm like, when you're on stage, take your personality and amplify that. Let people know who you really are, whether it's, on stage, whether it's in front of the camera. Those people, you go back to, Malcolm McLaren, like all that stuff back in the days of punk, they lived that. They were there. That was their personality. It wasn't always a character. Some are characters, but it was always that this is how they are. Elvis Costello was one of the most fantastic about that. His attitude on stage was his attitude in his interviews, and it was his personality. He believed that's what he was about. And then you take it to the next steps, and you go, to the modern day era. And it's like those people who get up and say something, and it's like, this is what I truly believe, and they're writing music. Those are the people that might not even be the most popular, but they have the most loyal fans, because it's them being themselves.
Well, to that point, being unapologetically yourself requires a comfortability with being hated.
Yes. And there's that. So here, if you can overcome the fear of being hated, there's a lot to unpack.
People are going to hate you either way. So you might as well be cool with it.
It doesn't, if I could say that I'm going to post, I firmly believe the sky is green. People are going to say, no, it's blue. You're an idiot. I hate you for your beliefs. And other people are going to say, hey, you know something? You're kind of right. The sky is green. So it's like, you're going to, no matter what absurd thing you're going to say, and I think, we see this in politics, is no matter what you're saying, people are going to love you or hate you.
2020 has been the greatest teacher on that, hasn't it?
Exactly. So how do we
2020 has forced us. Yeah, for sure.
so let's take this into a practice. Like how does one get over their fear of saying being disliked? Because that kind of ties in with failure. It's like my fear of failure in a musician standpoint is their barometer for failure is that people don't like their music. So how do we get over that fear of not being liked?
Yeah, why does it matter if you're liked? It's just like, well, it's like inherent in every human being. Everything we do is to look good and avoid looking bad. We want to be a part of a collective. We want to be part of a herd. And a requirement for speaking truth is that you're just not going to be liked. You just have to practice it. There's no concept or theory that I know of where we can think our way through the fear of being hated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be on the court speaking truth and seeing how it comes up in your body, seeing how it I go there, right, guys? Psychically limits you from potential and process it in the moment. That's called doing the work to be unapologetically yourself. And I'm not really interested in artists who aren't unapologetically themselves. They're fucking boring. They're normals. That's not what it is to be a great artist, is to follow herd mentality. It's to be unapologetically you.
Yeah. So I think that is the biggest takeaway that we can get out of this. So we're going to leave it with that. Stephanie, this is great. I'm loving the new format. We're going to have some great things. So Steph, it was a pleasure. Great seeing you again. And we're going to be having a Zoom Thanksgiving get together to thank all our partners and the people involved in supporting us. So we're going to just do some. So I'll be sending out all that information to the people that are in the music industry city and residents of the city, the website. So Steph, it was great seeing you. Thank you so much. All right. And that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to continue the conversation, you can find us at musicindustrycity.com, or you can leave a comment below. If you find this interesting, hit that subscribe, follow, notification, whatever platform you're on, there's a button there. And I mean, we're not going to start doing fleets on Twitter, so you don't have to worry about that. Tonight, and this is our open format, tonight is Freeform at 9 p.m. Eastern. And that's in our Facebook group, YouTube, and Twitch, where you get the opportunity to call in and be part of the show. It's a lot of fun. We do a 60-second spotlight. So if there's something you want to jam out as a musician, you want to show off your chops, you want to sing a song, you want to get on the soapbox and give you a 60-second rant, it's a lot of fun. So once again, thank you again to my co-host, Stephanie Carlin. Have a rocking week. Peace.